Hello everyone. Today I'm excited to share that I'm going to start a pantry challenge for January of 2025. I'm going to continue on from there, but the goal is to make it through January. We'll see where we go from there. Now I'm going to have a few rules, but the main one is we are going to do $25 a week on this is food and snacks, anything we're eating in our home. Okay, $25 a week. This is going to be challenging for me. Now, we're going to go over some rules, stipulations, and what the exact plan is. If you are new here, my name is Amanda, and I hope you join me for this pantry challenge. Okay, so first of all, where am I starting this challenge? I'm going to keep it completely real. I am not starting with empty fridge and pantry. I'm not trying to live 100% off $25 a week. I have a stocked fridge, stocked pantry, and a stocked freezer. I tend to be somebody who likes to keep food in the house and an abundance of food in the house. I don't know. My mom ran an in-home daycare. I was used to her buying like 8 gallons of milk at a time. Like I'm used to bulk shopping. I want to give this challenge a try though to maybe decrease what I have in my fridge, freezer, and pantry, go through some of those old items, make sure I'm using them, and get a little more creative with my cooking while also maybe having a little bit of a tighter budget on the groceries going into the new year. I don't know about you, but my spending on groceries is absolutely insane. And honestly, I think I'm pretty thrifty. So quick look, in my pantry, I've got pastas, I've got rice, I have things like flour, sugar, like baking essentials. I do have some chips. We do like taco nights a lot. I do a lot of rice in like beef taco-y type bowls for lunch. So I definitely have a lot of chips. And then we've got a few different snackies. I don't buy too many prepackaged things. I've got like a couple here and there. We have a couple bulk containers from Sam's Club, like pretzels and animal crackers. And then just some other random items, mac and cheese, instant potatoes, popcorn, and so on. Anyway, overall, my pantry is pretty stocked. Next, I have this like cabinet over here. It's got some of my like canned goods in it. This is just an extension of my pantry. I have like extra condiments up in the top here, dressings, things like that. And then in my spice cabinet, I have plenty of spices. I should be pretty stocked up on those. Moving on to the fridge, I have eggs, I've got butter, I've got cheeses, yogurt, fresh meats. I have some fresh produce like strawberries. And then I have your typical things like your condiments, jam, things like that. Then moving on to the freezer, I've got your typical meat in the freezer like hamburgers, some tenderloins, and then I have these bags of meat that are pre-cooked and frozen, and they are my trick to getting dinner on the table in a flash. If you want to hear more about these, I will link a video at the end. It will also be in the description, and it goes over how I make these meats and freeze them and then turn them into delicious and typically one-pot meals. So I've got sausage, pulled pork, ground beef, and shredded chicken, along with some bacon that is pre-cooked as well. Some other things I keep in my freezer are like bacon grease. I keep some chicken broth down here and things like tomato paste, some spinach. I've got tomatoes for when I make pizza, as well as some mozzarella cheese. I love making homemade pizza. So those are some of my pizza toppings that I keep there. My point being, I'm stocked on food. I'm not starting from scratch. That is why I think $25 is possible. And my goal kind of is to see how long I can maintain it. I want to get through January. 100% I'm getting through January. I'm going to continue on into February and see how I do and see how far I can go. And maybe near the end, as I am starting to run lower on things, maybe I'll change up my rules, maybe $50 a week, and I sort of start the restock process. We'll see, not entirely sure. But the next thing we need to get into is the actual rules. Okay, so like I said, $25 per week. This is going to be like Sunday to Saturday, $25. My rule for the week is I can spend $25. If I spend less, I can carry it forward. Okay, so if I spend $10 that first week, I'm like, I don't really need that much. I'd rather save that money and then next week buy some meat. I can push that money forward. Now, I can't steal money and bring it back. I can't, the first week of January, spend $100. Okay, can't do it. So money can get rolled over to the next week and the next week. Okay, that to me is just how budgeting and managing your money works. So I'm going to do that and allow for that. What I am buying with this $25, just to be clear, is my food for my family. This could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Now, this is not going to include things like paper goods, like paper towels. That's not going to count. I don't buy a lot of paper goods, but if I do, for whatever reason, need to get some, that's not counting in our food budget. Another thing that doesn't count is eating out. We don't eat out for lunch like ever. And on the weekends, typically we eat out once. Sometimes we do zero if we've got a lot of family gatherings and those type of parties. Sometimes we'll eat out twice, but that's pretty rare. So eating out is still allowed, but we are not going to increase our eating out because we are living on this like budget and doing this pantry challenge. Okay, it's not entitling us to eat out more. That is so not the point. And then finally, my last rule is this does not apply to my entire family, at least not strictly. I'm cooking for my family typically, so I am doing it and they're participating even if they don't know it. But if my child has a birthday party and I need to buy food and paper products and stuff for that, that's going to be a separate expense. That's not going to count. Okay, that's not our daily and weekly meals. That's a special party, and I'm not going to make my child suffer. If my husband randomly wants a case of beer, I'll buy that separately. Okay, I'm not going to say, oh, nope, you can't have that. I'm doing a pantry challenge. He can have that separately. He probably won't request anything. He never actually does. But if for some reason he does need something like that, 100% he can get it. He's an adult. Okay, but for me, for food for my family that I'm in control of and cooking, which again is most of it, I'm sticking to that $25 a week. Now, what will I be buying with the $25? I think primarily, at least in the beginning, it's going to be meat, trying to keep my freezer stocked with meat, dairy as I run out of dairy, and fruit. My kids don't eat a lot of veggies. I'll keep it real there. So I think fruit is going to be a decent amount of it. And if you think about $25, if I buy meat, usually that's going to be like $10 to $12, depending on what I'm getting. So half of it could go to meat every week, honestly. And then if I buy a fruit, that could be another $5. If I buy some cheese or yogurt, that could be another $5. It's almost like pretty quickly it's going to be gone. So again, we'll see how this goes. It's definitely going to be a challenge. I don't have a deep freeze. I literally only have our kitchen fridge and freezer. So I don't have like a half a cow hiding in the garage that we're going to be eating off of. What I showed you in my kitchen is what we have. So with this challenge, when it comes to the shopping and what I'm buying, I'm going to try to buy things to enhance my meals. Honestly, try to find discounts, try to find deals, try to get creative with my cooking, and also not wasting food as much. I think it will motivate me to be more careful with our food. Why am I doing this challenge? A couple of reasons. First of all, I'm used to having a very stocked kitchen. I want to see what it's like to have a little bit less and work with that. I want to get a little more creative on my cooking. I want to cook more affordably. I want to decrease our grocery bill for a little while. It's just been a lot lately, and I'd like to take a little break on the expensive grocery runs and just see what I'm capable of. Now, one huge concern I do have with this is, say I deplete my stash of food. At the end of this, am I going to go to the grocery store and spend $500, and like I'm spending all this money to restock what I've diminished? I'm curious if that happens. That'll be a little bit of a bummer if that's the case, and I think I would slowly build it back up. Curious how I feel having less food in the house, if I feel insecure about it. I'm curious if it affects how my meals come together, because I have quite a few meals in my head that I can make on any given day because I always have those ingredients in my kitchen. So I'm curious if it's going to disrupt my flow. I'm interested to see if it makes me even better at food planning and meal planning, and honestly just actually having a budget. I don't actually grocery shop on a budget. I just go and I buy the normal things I buy, and it kind of just costs what it costs. I'm fortunate to be in that position, but also I don't want to take advantage of it because we don't have a ridiculous income. I don't want that to be how that comes off. We're fortunate enough to not be on a super strict and tight budget either. We're definitely somewhere in between, and I want to see if I can be a little bit better with stewarding our money and trying to just save. Editing Amanda, just want to jump in here and clarify. When I say I don't have a budget, I do not mean that to sound crazy. Okay, this does not mean I'm buying steak and things of that nature. I'm not buying, grass-fed beef. I'm not buying organic fruits and vegetables. I am on a budget. I'm not on a number budget. I don't have a limit when I go to the grocery store of exactly how much I can afford to spend, but do I spend wisely, thrifty, and affordably? Yes. The peanut butter over in our cabinet right now, it is the Great Value peanut butter. I don't buy Jif. I don't buy Peter Pan. I buy the cheapest I can buy. Okay, a lot of things I buy are not name brand. They're not organic. They're not always the best quality. Like the beef I buy, it's not the highest grade. I'm not buying steaks. Okay, I'm buying what I consider affordable food for my family. Everyone has a different definition of that, but that is what I mean when I say I'm not on a budget. It does not mean I'm spending crazy amounts of money. It just means I'm blessed enough that I can go buy what I feel like we need for our household on our cost of living. Okay, so again, I'm not buying no T-bones at the grocery store. Don't get it twisted, okay? Now, let's jump right back into the video. So I'm really excited to see how this challenge goes. I'm going to share updates along the way. Those videos will probably come out on Sunday or Monday, I'm thinking, from that following week. We'll see how the recording and editing go, and I'm going to show you probably my grocery shopping bill and maybe some of the meals I made that week. Probably not every single one. That's a huge commitment, But I'm going to just show you tidbits and give you like a run through of my week, see how it went and how I'm going overall. Maybe at the end of January, I'll give you a quick video of my pantry, fridge, and freezer to see how empty they have gotten and how depleted my resources are. And like I said, I'm very curious to see how I feel at the end of it, like emotionally, financially, and almost like creatively. Like, is it working for me or is it making my life so much harder? If you want to join me on this pantry challenge, please subscribe so you don't miss any updates along the way. And I'd love to hear from you if you've tried anything like this before, how it went, if you have any tips to share. I would love them, and anyone else who wants to participate, I'm sure would love them as well. All right, so let's do this. I'm doing a $25 a week challenge. For you, it may be a higher budget. You make your own rules for your family, and let's see how creative we can get, if this is an eye-opening experience, and what we learn from it overall. Okay, so comment down below if you're going to join, and I also am going to link that video. It's coming up on the screen now and will be in the description, and it is all about those freezer meats that I do. They're not freezer meals. They're the freezer meats. Then you turn them into a lovely, quick and easy, one pot in most situations meal. So click the link and check that one out.